Thank you for joining us for today's live session on the Education Assistant Diploma at Ashton College. My name is Pamela, and I'm part of the marketing team here. I'll be your host this afternoon. I'm pleased to be joined by Sandie Rai, one of our instructors for this program. Sandie has over 20 years of experience in child and youth care, education, and family support. With a Bachelor of Arts in Child and Youth Care and an Infant and Support Child Development Diploma, she's dedicated to support children and youth with diverse learning needs, including behavioral, developmental, and mental health challenges. In this session, we'll explore Sandie's background and experience, discuss the structure of highlights of the program, talk about the essential skills needed in the field, and review the types of career opportunities available after graduation. Feel free to submit your questions using the chat or the Q&A features at the bottom of your screen. We'll get to as many as we can during the Q&A portion at the end. If you like more information about the program, how to apply, or Ashton College in general, you'll find helpful links in the resources section or in the video description if you're watching from YouTube. Now, let's get started. Hey, Sandie, thank you so much for being in here. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Let's kick out with the first question. Can you give us a short breakdown of the education assistant field and what it involves?
Yeah, absolutely. So the education assistant field focuses on supporting students with diverse needs. This includes students with disability, behavior challenges, or those who simply have additional academic or social supports. EAs sort of work alongside teachers to create an inclusive environment where every student has the opportunity to succeed. The work often includes adapting material, implementing behavior support plans, fostering communication and independence, and also promoting a positive classroom climate.
Great. Can you tell us a bit about your career, educational background, and why you choose to work in this field?
Yeah, for sure. So I started my career quite early, working directly with children and youth in inclusive classroom settings. And I, quite quickly discovered how rewarding it was to see students make progress when they were given the right supports. As you mentioned, I hold a background in child and youth care and counseling, and I have specialized training in special ed and a bit of mental health. Over the years, I've moved into post-secondary teaching because I wanted to help sort of prepare the next generation of EAs, people who sort of go into this role making really good, meaningful differences in the classroom every day.
Wow, that's a very impressive background. Can you tell us a little bit about the Education Assistant Diploma here at Ashton?
Yeah, this is such a great program. So the EA diploma program prepares students to support learners with, so many different needs in both the elementary and the secondary settings. The program combines theory and practical skills covering topics like applied behavior analysis, supporting students with autism, assistive technology, inclusive practices, communication strategies, and a little bit of classroom management. It's a balance between a hands-on program that focuses on real-world application and readiness for the classroom.
Wonderful. And what is your favorite part of the program, Sandie? What will students benefit from it the most, in your opinion?
Yeah, my favorite part is seeing the students connecting the theory to the real life practice. So especially during case studies, simulations, the moment when a student realizes I can actually do this is really rewarding because it feels so big in the beginning. But as you start going through the program, there are moments where you will come to realize that this is a role that you can do. And I think students really benefit most from the combination of the collaborative learning. There's a ton of supportive instructors in this program, and the meaningful field experience that gives them the confidence in their ability to do the role before they even graduate.
That sounds honestly fun and technical, which I think it's a very good combination.
Yeah.
How would you describe your teaching style?
I think my teaching style is, I would say it's interactive,
Mm.
supportive, and quite practical. So I like to use real classroom examples. In my teaching, I share a lot of videos. I love to do a lot of case studies of cases that I've worked with in supporting students in elementary school or high school or supporting their families. I also encourage reflection and discussion because everyone in this field brings such valuable life experience to the table. And I think my goal is to really create a learning environment that's going to feel safe for students, that's, quite meaningful and engaging, and then connecting to what students will experience in the schools themselves.
What are your expectations of students in this program? How much time how much study time will students need to dedicate each week to be successful, in your opinion?
I think students need to come prepared. They need to participate actively, and they need to engage with the material, and engage with each other. Success in this program, I think, requires a lot of consistency. I would
Mm.
say in the courses that I've taught, I would say about 10 to 15 hours a week outside of the class readings, including the class readings and the assignments are really important. Doing the self-reflections that usually are posted online. But more importantly, I encourage students to approach the program with openness, tons of empathy for yourself as you're going through this, and then genuine learning desire to learn more about these diverse learners and to get a better understanding of it all.
Definitely, enthusiasm for learning is like a big one. And
Yeah.
I've heard a lot that students really enjoy the flexibility of the program.
Yeah.
Yeah, so being able to split these hours during a week just to focus on it, I think, like you mentioned, it is important.
Mhm.
Um, what are some career options or typical next steps for students after they graduate from this program?
Yeah, most graduates go on to work as an EA in either the public or private system. Other work in specialized settings such as early intervention programs, learning centers, and community support agencies are also available. But some students use the program as a stepping stone to further their education. Once they've become an EA, they go on to becoming a teacher, which is so great to see. And there's so much more to explore in education, psychology, social work. So this can be a really great stepping stone for that as well.
And in your opinion, what are the most essential skills or qualities needed to be successful in this field?
I think empathy is a real big one, along with patience. Adaptability is so big because things change from minute to minute in a classroom setting. Strong communication skills are really essential. Education assistants need to be really great observers because they are the ones that are going to have the eyes on the students the most. Good listeners and excellent collaborators because you're going to be collaborating with the team often. A positive attitude is always great. The willingness to learn and to do the long hours of the day. And 2 days, I think students over time need that flexibility and that compassion when they get into the role.
Sandy, how would you describe a typical day in the life of someone working as an education assistant?
Yeah, it has changed a lot since I was in the classroom, I would say. A typical day might involve supporting one or more students in a classroom. You're helping with academic tasks at times. You're setting up visual schedules for students. You're helping with assistive technology. You're implementing behavior or sensory support strategies for students. You're collaborating with teachers and other specialists in the school. You might be teaching social skills circles, helping students self-regulate. And then, of course, the big one that always makes me smile is that you get to celebrate the small milestones that are making a really big difference in the students' confidence.
Well, that's really big. Yeah. Uh, and I know we mentioned a little bit about the flexibility before. Um, but how do the synchronous and asynchronous classes work in this program, and how do they how do students benefit from it, in your opinion?
Yeah, so synchronous classes are live, instructor-led sessions that allow students to interact, ask questions, collaborate in real time, work on case studies with group members. And then asynchronous components are recorded lessons and discussion boards. So you're doing the same thing, but you're doing it on your own time. This lets students learn at their own pace, review material as they need to at their own pace. This blended approach gives students flexibility as well. So while still feeling connected and supported to your schoolmates and your classmates, you can, hold a job, take care of your family and all the other outside needs that still need to go on.
That's very true. I've heard a lot of students that are juggling between learning their journey here at Ashton and then maintaining a job outside. So yeah, this is wonderful for them, I guess. And how beneficial is the practicum component for students in your opinion? What kind of experiences can they expect from it?
Yeah, I think the practicum is probably one of the most valuable parts of this program. It gives students a chance to apply what they've learned in real classroom settings under the guidance of experienced educators. You really gain confidence throughout your practicum. You develop so many amazing practical skills, and you often build professional relationships that can lead to employment. And this is where I think theory truly comes to life.
Yeah, definitely. Um, what advice would you give the students who are new to the field?
Yeah, I think being open to learning, not just from your instructor, but from the students that you're going to be supporting. Every child is going to teach you something about patience, about resiliency, about creativity. Don't be afraid to ask questions when you're out in the field. Seek that feedback and oftentimes make sure you're taking that time for self-reflection and self-care. I truly believe that growth happens when you're willing to try it, adapt it, and then keep going. So I think it's really important to take those moments out for reflection.
Great, and you're right. Even plants grow in a good environment, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, is there anything else you like to add that we haven't covered yet?
I think just that being an EA is one of the most meaningful careers you can choose. You're not only supporting students academically, you're helping them believe in themselves. It's work that makes a really long-lasting impact. And I truly believe it attracts some of the most caring and dedicated people out there. I still have relationships with families who I supported when their kids were, in kindergarten and who are now gone off into post-secondary themselves. And those relationships have left, really lasting impacts for sure.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. Now it's time to transition to our Q&A section. Let's take a look to the audience to see if they have any questions. But in the meantime, Sandie, what challenges did you face when you first started working as an educational assistant? And how did you overcome them? And what tools helped you earlier in your career?
I think the biggest challenge was learning how to balance supporting a student's independence with providing the right amount of help, right? It is really easy to do everything for the students that you're working with because it's easier, it's faster, it's more efficient. You can go on to support other students. But finding that balance is really important. So, I learned that the importance of communication with teachers, setting realistic goals, and using strategies like promoting and fading to build that confidence in students is really helpful. And mentorship and collaboration were essential in some of those early days.
Yeah, definitely. I think being guided or having a mentor,
Mm-hmm.
definitely a great way to go around the industry.
Yeah.
Do you have any essential tips for online learning that you think would help students succeed in this program?
Yeah, I think making sure that you're going to stay organized, setting a consistent schedule, engaging actively with your classmates and instructor is really important. Treat online learning like you would a real in-person class. So make sure you're present, you're participating, and you've carved out a time throughout your day to sit in front of the computer and do the work. Use your camera if you can to contribute to discussion, because this really helps build some of those connections online. But just making sure that you're connecting with the people in your pod for sure.
That's really good advice. Sandy, we haven't had any other questions. I think if we do, please put it on the chat. But yeah, just to give it more time to the Q&A section to see if there's someone else with another question. What are some common misconceptions people have about working as an educational assistant, in your opinion?
I think the big one is that EAs are just helpers in the classroom. And in reality, education assistants are skilled professionals who play a vital role in supporting the learning, the behavior, and the emotional well-being of the students that they're working with. They work really closely with teachers, specialists, principals, resource teachers, OTs, doctors even, and families who are, essential in creating an inclusive classroom where students can thrive.
That was really insightful. And honestly, I think a lot of what you said, like if someone's really interested or considering this as a career, it's a very good, I guess, motivator to just start learning and yeah, follow this amazing career, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you so much, Sandy, for sharing all your experience and knowledge with us today. I think we didn't get any other question, but everything you mentioned is so important for this for this program and this career, I guess. It's always inspiring for prospective students to hear directly from an instructor, to get a sense of what the program is like and what truly means to make a difference in inclusive education.
Mm-hmm.
For everyone that's interested in Education Assistant Diploma program and want to take next steps, you can scan the QR code that will appear on your screen shortly, or visit ashtoncollege.ca to learn more. Again, Sandy, thank you so much for being here. We learned so much from you, and yeah, we hope we hope we can see you again in here. We hope you found the session, I don't know, rewarding, and everyone that's watching to find it helpful. And we look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Pamela. Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
so much. Have a good one. Bye.